last bargain by Rabindranath Tagore. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone paved road. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power. But this power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I'll hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, but I turned away. It was evening. The garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I'll hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke weariedly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I'll hire you with nothing. From henceforward, that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. This poem describes a man who is in search of work. On his way, he encountered different types of people who wanted to hire him. In the morning, he met with a king who wanted to hire him with a spar. Then in the afternoon, he met with an elder man who had a bag of gold and wanted to hire him with his money. In the evening, he met with a lady who took care of the flower garden, and she said she would hire him with a smile. But the man refuses all their offers. In the end, he met with a child who said that he would hire him for nothing. The man agreed to him, as in his opinion, freedom is more valuable than power, money, or beauty. Now I'll explain each stanza in detail. The first stanza goes like this. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone paved road. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I'll hire you with my power. But his power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. In the first stanza, the poet describes a man who is looking for work. He is seeking for a job. The man cried and asked to be hired while he was walking in the morning on the road filled with stone. That is mentioned there, a stone paved road means the road that is filled with stone. And then he had seen a king coming on his chariot, and he was carrying a sword in his hand. And the king offered him power in return of his service. The man felt that the king was not much worth, so he refused the king's offer. He denied that I don't need power, I don't want anything from you. The second stanza goes like this. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I'll hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, but I turned away. In this stanza, we can see the second offer that came to this man. The second offer came to him in the afternoon when the weather was scorching, because it is mentioned there in the heat of the midday means it is scorching heat. And he was surprised when he saw an old man with a bag of gold approaching him along the crooked lane. Crooked lane means it is a narrow road, a bended narrow road, a twisted road. And the old man thought for a while and then offered him gold coins in return for his labor. That is, if this man is doing some work for him, the old man will give him money, gold coin. The man did not accept this offer as he felt that gold could not buy everlasting happiness. So he denied the second offer as well. It was evening. The garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I'll hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. In the evening time, the man who was searching for a job saw a very beautiful garden. It is full of flowers and a fence of plants. Hedge means a fence, and the fence was made of plants, and it was just protecting a beautiful garden. And there he had seen a lady who looked after the garden, and she came out and said she would give him a smile in return for his work. The man found that her smile was for a short time and would melt into tears. So subsequently, what happened? He refused her offer also. Here it is showing the love or the lust of a person, and the man thinks that even that is not permanent. It is not fully able to satisfy or fully able to make us happy. That is why the man denied love of the fair maid. The last stanza. The sun glistened on the sand, and the sea waves broke waywardly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me and said, I'll hire you with nothing. From henceforward, that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. In the final stanza, the man reached the seashore, and where the sun shined on the land, and it seemed as if the sea waves were breaking the boundaries. That is, it's the time of sunset. Now the man is nearby the seashore, and it's the time of sunset. And there he can see a child was sitting there and playing with seashells. He raised his hand, means the boy, the small boy, the child who was playing nearby the seashore with the seashells, raised his hand and said he had nothing to give him in return for his work. That is, if this man is helping the child is not having anything to give him back. But the man accepted this offer as he felt that he would not have to compromise his freedom. That is, with a child, he is having a vast opportunity of freedom. Unless he is not being captivated by anybody, he is having the opportunity to enjoy each essence of freedom. So if he is with this small child, he is having the greatest virtue, that is freedom. I'm giving you a very brief summary of this poem. I can say that The Last Bargain is a poem that is describing the story of a man who is in search of a job. He wants a job in which he can work without losing his freedom. And the speaker or the man receives the offer from powerful, rich and beautiful souls, but turns all of them down. And he finally accepts the offer of a child, which is the last bargain.